and you mentioned, Brian, that, number of European nations are sending troops to Greenland. They're small numbers. France sent like 14, troops, but it was the depiction. It was the symbolism of it more than anything else. Why are they going there? They're going there because there's a perceived threat from the United States of America. Are you freaking kidding me? We've had a treaty with Denmark, Greenland since 1951. At one point, we had something like 10,000 troops in Greenland. We got about, I think, 200 is what I heard now. We could increase our presence there. We've talked about this on the podcast. There is a strategic value to having more United States presence in military submarine ships in the Arctic because of Chinese and Russian incursions through the Arctic seas. And that's to everybody's benefit. That the Europeans would love for us to increase our presence there because they don't have to do it.
Right.
So everyone would be in agreement about it. And yet Trump is pushing, and this isn't the first time. He did this in the first administration, is when he first raised this as an issue. Because if you look at the world globe, Greenland, and it's always exaggerated, but it is still one of the largest places on the earth.
Twice the size of Texas with 57,000 people. There you go.
It's huge, and he would like to have, a Louisiana purchase a la Jefferson, a Alaska purchase a la Andrew Johnson, to have, the Trump name attached to it. And it's just stupid. I mean, I don't, that's a legal term for it, but
to me, it is without a doubt one of the dumbest things I've ever seen any president do ever. And to your point, he wants to do it because he values his own contribution and sees, much like, to me, this issue is much like building the big, beautiful ballroom that's twice the size of the White House. It's an edifice to his own monumental ego. And at the end of the day, what I talked to earlier this week and had on the show, former lieutenant colonel in the United States Army, Ali Omer, who served in Denmark, and said, look, we were seen as their number one ally, even above NATO, above the European Union. Denmark let us have anything we want. So why don't we just do that? And when asked in the briefing room, going back to that woman you don't want to discuss anymore, Mark, but when asked in the briefing room, the PEP secretary, they said, look, we can have anything we want there. Why do we need to own it? And it was told to us that it's about control. And what it's really about is his own ego. And his own ego is putting this country and the world in peril. I really think that at the end of the day, and it bugs the shit out of me because I remember the movie The Day After. And I don't know if anybody else does, but I actually saw a headline this week talking about how Donald Trump is escalating events. And there was a headline that said, who would be the first that would be, who would have to go into the military and would be drafted in the event of World War III. And I'm sorry, but you've forgotten the fact that World War III isn't going to be boots on the ground and tanks. It's going to be a guy with a finger pushing a button. And the next thing you know, we're all, living out of caves if we haven't died of radiation poisoning. So this is where what concerns me is that I don't think we even understand where our actions can take us. What is going to happen if we continue down this path? Vladimir Putin doesn't care because he gets to destroy, traditional allies. Again, we built Europe, and he surely believes that at some point in time will back off, or maybe he doesn't care because he's got a bunker somewhere, but that we would back off before mutually assured destruction. Does anybody remember that policy, the MAD policy, mutually assured destruction? Does anybody remember nuclear winter? Does anybody remember what what famous scientists said about Russia and the United States being two guys sitting in a room filled with gasoline and explosives and one arguing over who has the most matches? This is ridiculous on the face of it, and Donald Trump is taking it seriously and heading us towards that, or am I exaggerating? But it seems to me like that's where we're headed.